Hi, this is Bill Kacheski from Coda Technology. We're happy to be here as a gold sponsor for Sensors Innovation Week. We're going to talk about some of the challenges of next generation medical devices, but before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Coda and its affiliation with sensors. For over 100 years, Coda has been providing advanced switching and magnetic sensing solutions. Our latest innovative product line is the RedRock TMR magnetic sensor. These tiny solid-state sensors offer high magnetic sensitivity, EMF resistance, small package size, and perhaps most importantly, ultra-low power consumption to conserve battery power in critical devices during storage. Today, with many device shipments delayed due indirectly to COVID, months may need to be added onto those shelf life requirements. But why does that matter? And how is this technology critical to enabling medical devices? Well, sensors have undergone a revolution in integration, cost, power, and size. Sensor elements are routinely integrated with silicon ICs to make smart sensors. The combination has enabled better sensitivity and noise rejection, complex power management features, and the incorporation of processing sensor fusion algorithms all in a tiny package. These modern smart sensors consume microamps of power and enable long battery life while providing an unprecedented quality and quantity of data. Using physiological and health monitoring applications, your phone can now operate as a tricorder-like sensing device. Wearable health devices allow consumers to take continuous measurements of their pulse, activity, stress, blood pressure, and blood oxygenation. As sensor technology has improved, sensors are now applied to clinical devices, and the medical industry has moved to even smaller and more sophisticated devices to diagnose and monitor our bodies. Let's look at a few examples. By making the process less unpleasant, pill cam technology is resulting in more people consenting to potentially life-saving colonoscopies. Instead of a visit to the clinic, getting sedated, and then going through recovery, the patient now completes the normal prep and then swallows a miniature camera while completing the process in the comfort of their home. As the capsule travels through the digestive tract, the camera takes thousands of pictures that are either transmitted in real time or are downloaded later to a recorder. Advanced low-power imagers and integrated processing and communication make it all happen. From a technical point of view, prior to being prescribed to the patient, the highly integrated imager is fully sealed from the outside world and may be stocked on the shelf for up to 2 years or more, potentially drawing critical battery power. If you or you know someone with diabetes, nothing is more annoying than needing to prick your finger every time you have to provide a blood sample. New continuous glucose monitoring systems, or CGMS, not only take that pain away, but they also give patients constant feedback. Tell them how what they eat impacts their glucose levels. This feedback is so useful that these devices are also prescribed to people with late onset type 2 diabetes. Health enthusiasts and athletes use a similar type of device to allow them to monitor their bodies and train more efficiently. Increasingly, CGMSs are moving from a module to a patch format for user comfort. This places an enormous focus on ultra-low power electronics and radios in ultra-small size. Batteries must be pushed to the limit of size and capacity. And of course, the device must be sealed off from the environment so the user can shower, exercise, or go about their lives. New products are moving to even smaller implantable sensors. Other similar sensing applications go beyond humans. For instance, one less well-known application for sensors is animal tracking. Tags are attached to cattle, fish, even sharks to track their movements and state of wellness, as well as information on location or migration. And once again, it's important that the device be ready to activate off the shelf when needed and be sealed from harsh environments. These next-generation sensing devices share a number of challenges. Users don't want devices that interfere with their lives and don't want the stigma of highly visible medical device. So form factors are moving to patches and in some cases even to implantables. This puts even more stress on miniaturization of sensors, electronics, and radios. And the electronics must be ultra low power. If not, the battery will become too large for the form factor, or battery life will suffer. Increasingly, these devices start to resemble consumer products. They're stocked in doctor offices or in pharmacies. Shelf life of more than 2 years is a requirement so that the devices are ready when needed. Turns out when improvements in electronic performance have kept up with requirements when the device is operating. But what about shelf life? Well, the problem nobody talks about is what happens when the device is off. It turns out that even the smallest leakage currents in electronics are draining the battery day by day, week by week, killing the shelf life. All electronic devices have an off-state leakage current. This can be very small, hundreds of nanoamps, or up to microamps. When the electronics are operating, it's negligible, but sitting on the shelf, it adds up, slowly draining the battery day after day, week after week. For example, a leakage current of 10 microamps will drain a typical 150 milliamp hour battery well within the 2-year shelf life requirements. A pseudo-physical disconnect of the battery is needed to prevent the leakage. How do we accomplish this? On many devices, I'm sure you have seen the little pull tabs that make a hard disconnect of the battery to prevent battery drain. Unfortunately, for this next generation of hermetically sealed medical sensors, that's not an option. Electronic switches based on FET or other technologies still leak. Turns out that one of the best and only solutions is an old-fashioned switch. But how do we trigger this switch, and when is it inside a sealed enclosure? Enter Koto's RedRock battery disconnect technology. First, the circuit controlling the sensor elements is designed to consume under 100 nanoamps. The switch is activated by a magnetic field. By using TMR technology, Koto can ensure that the device can be triggered with very low magnetic fields. In some cases, the use case will dictate that the device is on in the presence of a magnetic field and off when the field is absent. In other cases, the use case is the equivalent of a paper tab. Once activated, the device will remain in the on position so that the device is permanently activated. Finally, at 1.4 by 1.4 by 0.4 millimeters, the sensor won't cause any real estate anxiety. Other solutions do exist to disconnect the battery. Wireless techniques can be used, but they require a complicated setup of wireless protocols, and the current drain of the circuits are much higher and limit shelf life. Mechanical switches have great performance for leakage, but they tend to be too large and too expensive. Koto's TMR magnetic sensor solution checks the boxes on all the important characteristics needed for miniature sealed devices. In conclusion, a new class of medical device sensors is highly integrated into patch, pill, and even implantable formats. To meet the needs of users and for reliability, they must be hermetically sealed from the outside world. A further requirement is the need for long shelf and storage life. This is a challenge due to the inherent leakage of the electronics. Technology is needed to effectively disconnect the battery until activation. Luckily, good solutions exist for this that are small, easy to activate, while having near zero current drain, supporting several important device use cases. For more information on TMR sensors, please visit our website at kotorelay.com. And thank you very much for your time.